Hey guys, welcome back. Andrew here with Ambient Endeavors, and it feels like it's been a minute since I've actually demoed a delay pedal. A lot of my roots obviously are in ambient, soundscapey music and things, and so I've demoed a ton of delays and reverbs over the years, but occasionally we mix in some other stuff, get sidetracked with an overdrive. I've been doing a fair amount of guitar-focused content and other projects, but today's fun to kind of return to the roots of delay, talk about the new Tapescape, the magnetic ambiance generator from a company called Bleak District Electric. They're over in the UK. They're putting out some really cool pedals, and this is their newest. So before we get going, I just want to give a shout out to my buddy John. He has the channel Signal Path, both here and over on Instagram, and we've become good friends over the last few years, and he is kind enough to play some notes on the intro track. So I appreciate him being a part of that. It's always fun to get to collaborate and connect with friends and pals that are doing this kind of stuff and combine forces. So go check out his channels, go follow him on Instagram. He always has a really great, compelling perspective on music, on effects and all that, and I continue to learn a bunch from him too. So back to Tapescape. We're going to just run through the controls, talk about the pedal a little bit, and then we'll have a bunch of sound samples towards the end where you can hear the wide range of sounds and textures you can get with this pedal. So to start, we have this big cool synth knob that controls the delay time. It goes from 30 milliseconds all the way up to 1100 milliseconds, so a really nice range of delay time there. You have your feedback control, mix control, and then the wow will adjust the low frequency modulation, so kind of like the wavering and the subtle kind of sway of the tape machine. The bottom row here has the flutter. That will be your higher frequency, faster modulation, and the rate is controlled by this rate knob. This orange knob controls the swell, and this affects the right foot switch, which creates kind of a swell ramping effect to the delay repeats. Really, really cool and useful for creating kind of pad ambient textures underneath your playing. You also have 3 toggles over here. You've got a kill dry switch. You have a type toggle, which gives you 3 types of modulation. The up position is the most aggressive random modulation. The middle position is a little bit smoother random modulation, and the down position gives you a more traditional sine wave type modulation. And then there's a low pass filter control where up is the darkest, the most aggressive low pass filtering. In the middle is a more standard sound, and the down position is the darker setting. So darkest, standard, darker. You also have an expression input jack up here that can affect either the delay time or the rate of the flutter, so you can control that remotely with an expression pedal. And the toggle selects what you're using that for up there. So a couple of the things I really loved about this pedal were, one, the way that it infuses its own kind of character and texture into your playing beyond just being the delay effect. So sometimes I use delay and I want it to be, fairly clean and clear. I want it to create this like percussive, rhythmic effect. But this kind of adds its own character and its own warmth and its own vibe to your playing beyond just having that rhythm element to it. So I was running the Benson Germanium boost in 1981 LVL on the pedal board here before the delay, and so there's not a ton of gain happening, but enough kind of texture and stuff, and paired with this, it really just gave this cool grittiness, this cool warmth and kind of chewiness. I really loved especially how it enhanced the lead line towards the end of the intro sketch. When I kicked off the delay pedal and was playing around with it, it lost some of that character and some of that like nuance and life. So it was really cool to hear how this pedal, though it's a wet effect, it's a delay pedal, there really is a lot of textural character happening between the delay repeats that are kind of darker and murkier, and the movement and the flutter and things of the modulation too. The other really cool aspect of this pedal is this right foot switch that controls the swell and the ramping function. You can just play a note or a chord, and it kind of starts to oscillate and ramp up that that chord or note that you're playing and create kind of a pad or just some kind of like ambient underneath your playing. I used that for a couple of tracks in the intro sketch to just create this sort of foundational layer underneath my playing, and I love doing that for ambient pieces, especially to just create textures and layers that you can fit in underneath and around things to fill out your sound. So it's a really cool feature to have on this pedal. So we're going to dive into a sound samples section here to just give you a feel for what this pedal is capable of, turn a bunch of knobs, see the range and things of different controls and settings. I'm going to use the same setup I had in the intro sketch, so we're going to run the Benson Germanium boost into 1981 LVL, then into the Tapescape, and finally to a Walrus Audio reverb from their Fundamental series. And I'm using a Guild Surfliner Deluxe guitar, and we'll be using the UA Dream as our amp. Check it out.
you.